that anything that's sharp
Right.
should hurt me or my
No.
colleagues?
Currently, I'm being arrested for expressing freedom of speech. I currently am wearing a sign which says that the trans flag, which is included in the Pride demonstration at great lengths, equals mental illness, which is greatly the case. That is why young people have been mutilated. That is why young people have been. And that's why the Tavistock clinic was closed down for mutilating young people. I'm now going to be searched. Apparently, I'm provoking. Apparently, what I'm doing is harmful. I've done nothing wrong. I've exercised my right to demonstrate. I've exercised my right to protest. I've exercised my inalienable rights, God-given. The UK used to be free. Did you remember those times? But in lockdown, we didn't see that, did we? We saw the police behave horrifically. See what the police are doing now? Cuffing me for what? Freedom of expression, freedom of speech, inciting nothing. I had calm, rational debates with people. I was not disrespectful. I love people. I'm a Christian. Of course, police don't like Christians these days.
Can I have your attention for a second?
They prefer Muslims.
As I said to you,
Actually, I identify as a woman. Can I have a woman search me?
Section 32 search can be done by the arrest.
1331.
Stuart, are you right to get caught?
Before we go, can you inform me of what's happening?
So you've been arrested for a public order offence, which has been explained to you.
I'm just going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 officers to arrest this man for wearing this sign. You need 9 officers to do that, apparently. This is what our taxes are going on, so hope you enjoy spending. Good lord. 9 officers. Oh, 10 and 11 officers now. Wow. Anyone would think that you thought he was a physical threat. Bloody hell, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
What do we say? In the wise words of Raw Milk Conspiracy, no comment. Soon I'll think things.
Have any of you read Animal Farm by any chance? No? It's really backwards. This is all just very backwards. Do you not see the irony of it? I know you can't say, but alright, when you get home tonight, just think about the bloody irony of it. It's ridiculous. 11 officers! Is there not anything better that these men could be doing with their time right now? Stopping other crimes, maybe? Or non-crime hate incidents, since, you know, everyone loves those now.
A viral video circulating on social media this weekend has reignited fierce debate over the limits of free speech in the United Kingdom. The footage shows a protester being arrested by police while wearing a controversial sign equating transgender identity with mental illness, a statement that many consider hate speech, but which the protester insists is protected free expression. The incident, reportedly involving 11 police officers, took place during a Pride demonstration where the protester, who has not yet been publicly named, stood in opposition to the event carrying a placard that read, "The trans flag equals mental illness." The individual referenced the closure of the Tavistock Gender Clinic as justification for their statements, claiming the UK is engaged in mutilating young people through gender-affirming healthcare, a controversial view at odds with medical consensus, but embraced by sections of the so-called gender-critical movement. The arrest has triggered a torrent of reactions across the political spectrum. Supporters of the protester see the incident as further proof that the UK no longer protects fundamental freedoms. Right-wing commentators and free speech advocates took to social media, using hashtags like #AFreeSpeechUnderAttack and #YouKeysNotFree, arguing that the government is criminalizing dissent on transgender issues. The incident underscores a wider national debate. Where does free speech end and public harm begin? Britain has no First Amendment equivalent. Free expression is protected under Article 10 of the European Convention on Human Rights, but with caveats. The law allows for restrictions when speech crosses into incitement, hate speech, or disorder. The protester's arrest is likely to become a flashpoint in upcoming political debates over free speech, policing, and LGBT rights. With the Conservative government already pushing for new public order legislation and Labour under pressure to clarify its stance on gender policy, Incidents like this are no longer isolated. They are emblematic of the cultural war lines forming across the UK. Whether viewed as the defense of minority rights or the suppression of free expression, the event at the Bell Hotel has thrust the debate back into the national spotlight. And for many Britons, the question remains, are we protecting the vulnerable or policing thought?
Your knowledge of international diplomacy is staggeringly poor. The idea that China and India are in cahoots against the rest of the world is complete nonsense. If you knew anything about international diplomacy and the geopolitical situation, you would know that China and India are against each other, and India is extremely afraid of what China's doing. You'd also know that actually India is trying to ramp up its production of renewables to compete with China. So this absolute nonsense that you come out with, you do need to actually look at the facts. And the facts are that for the past years, since 2008, when we put in place on a bipartisan basis the climate change agreement, pretty much every other major country around the world has adopted similar legislation to control the threat, because they know that the floods that are happening, the people who are watching this, who've had their floods happen in a way that could never have been predicted, the people who are watching this, who've had their relatives die, the figures say that 10,000 excess summer deaths because of heat stroke from the last 10 years.
So why are Labour politicians banning air conditioning? I mean, this stuff, Barry, you just said a whole load of words and claimed I was talking nonsense, and you didn't actually rebut a single thing I just said. Every single year for the last decade, India and China have increased coal production while this country blew its coal production up. It doesn't matter what they claim in 2070. These people are laughing at us. Whether or not they're colluding in laughing at us, fine, they are laughing at us unilaterally. But the fact is they are laughing at us nevertheless, Barry. And it's time we had proper leadership in this country that say, yeah, of course, renewables have a place in this country.
But change? You accept that it's a serious threat to the globe. You accept it's a serious threat to the global economy. How would you tackle it?
At no point have I said it's a serious threat to the
So
economy.
you don't believe it is?
No, I said nobody knows. No. There is no serious consensus on this. And every scientist you point to, every scientist, Barry, you point to, every decade since 1960, scientists have claimed that the world was going to end. I mean, every single decade for the last 40 years, there has been a total lack of an ability to predict this stuff.
Right.
So the reality is, Barry, China, India, Russia, the United States.
All you like, those countries, but it doesn't deny the fact.
Those countries are responsible for the lion's share of carbon emissions.
Just allow me
and all
to
Britain
come
is
back
doing, as Michelle said,
you
is
never
outsourcing.
do because you like to talk over people and make sure that nobody gets the word in edgeways.
Right.
As Michelle said, all the United Kingdom is doing under Madeleine Miliband is outsourcing our manufacturing and outsourcing our fossil fuel production to countries like China and India so that he can virtue signal at SW1 dinner parties.
You talked about scientists. The scientists in Russia, the scientists in China, the scientists in America, the scientists in the European Union all agree. How is it that you know
so why are they digging record amounts of coal out of the ground? Why are they digging record amounts of coal out of the ground?
How do you know so much more than they do?
Why are they digging record amounts of coal? That's what matters.
Because they're bringing their economy up to the level that the rest of the world has already achieved.
Yeah.
Okay? But answer the question. How do you think you know that all those scientists, the people in the Met Office, how do you know that they're wrong?
Every single person watching this programme, those of them who are old enough to remember, will know decade after decade after decade, a UN report in the 1960s, another one in the 1970s, claimed that there was going to be some kind of climate catastrophe that was going to be the end, basically, of civilization within 20 to 25 years. And every time it's been proven to be wrong. The reality is these scientists have no ability to predict
Name one
any
of those
this
reports.
Stuff.
Name one that said civilization is going to end.
People can go and Google this
don't
stuff.
Exist.
They absolutely
Name
do exist.
one.
There's a UN report. There's a UN report that said the ice caps were going to melt completely, and there was going to be such a significant change in global temperatures, Barry, that civilization would be severely impacted.
Look.